Hey everybody, I'm Steffeny Feld, and this is your 5-minute EMDR refresher. So welcome. This video is connected to one that I created related to the house in your head activity, which is an alternative to the container. And this one is about how do we identify parts or name parts that come up during, well, really any phase of EMDR work, but it especially is relevant during phase 4. So if you've taken either Robin Shapiro's Ego States trainings or some of the many others, which I can link below, phenomenal trainings available about how to integrate ego state, parts work, IFS into EMDR. It is the bomb. So we're just going to talk about kind of that first way to notice a part with a client. So I think, so much of EMDR is just noticing. And so sometimes you're processing and you just see a client. I feel like the easiest way for me is I just see their face change. And maybe they just look really small or really young. I feel like this is the most classic way to notice a part. And I just kind of say, why don't we pause just a minute and talk about what's happening inside of you? And so some people are really, self-aware, and they'll say, I feel really young, or I feel really small, or shrunk up. For other people, maybe they're not noticing it, but they're showing the signs of kind of going back into a younger part of themselves. And it doesn't have to be an age. It could also be a part that holds a certain emotion, like anger, fear, or shame. A lot of times that young age, like 4 or 5, has a lot of fear or confusion. And so sometimes I just ask right off the bat, like, how old are you feeling right now? And sometimes that's a really weird question for clients to hear. They might give you kind of a bizarre look. And then when they take a minute to think about it, they're like, I do feel kind of young. I feel like I'm in kindergarten, or I feel like I'm in 2nd grade. And then I'll say, okay, do you notice that you're feeling that in any particular part of your body? And they might say, oh gosh, like I just feel a sadness in my chest, or I feel like anger and like tension in my arms. And then, you could go even further than that just to ask them, does it feel like a certain color or temperature or texture? And some clients who like to imagine these things are very visual, that will really help them to get in touch with this part of themselves. You can also ask, them to imagine that part. So some people will say, yeah, I feel like I'm in kindergarten. Tell me, take a minute to turn inward and tell me, what does that kindergarten you look like? And so sometimes people will be like, oh, my hair is a mess and I have a silly outfit on and I'm running into things and, whatever it may be. Or, oh gosh, I look really quiet and really sad and really scared. And so just helping them to notice that part is huge. And you can keep your tappers on if you're doing that for BLS, that's fine. And then you can just ask, okay, now as you kind of zoom back and you come back to yourself right now in this moment as you are, how do you feel towards that part? And I try to name it, maybe it's like that kindergarten part, or if it's not a time and, an age, that part that holds a lot of anger. How do you feel towards it? And we can have more videos to discuss the nuances of that, but if they are kind of more in a grounded or self-regulated place, they may say, gosh, I really feel for that part of myself. Like I feel compassion or empathy. And that's not always the case. We can kind of get into some of the other responses that clients might have depending on, where they are in that moment. But that can be just like, if that is all you do is just notice that part that's coming out and allow them to see it in a new way and understand what it's like for that part and how it's feeling, that is huge. So Way to go, everyone. I will link those things down below, and see you next time. Take good care.